Welcome to the World Economic Federation. In the last video, we began talking about our democratically elected governing structure that will keep the Federation working by the people, for the people. We concentrated on why we need this structure and on the important work of the labor committees. Today, we will shift focus to the Executive Committee, the Stewardship Committee, the Auditor Group, and the Founder's Seat. The Executive Committee is one of the few instances where the committee is singular and not under local control. This is because their role is similar to that of the Federal Reserve, but rather than governing interest rates, they are using their funding allotments to manage the supply of energy credits by maintaining infrastructure to subsidize purchases of green energy that is bought with energy credits and other tools. This energy credit discount is to incentivize the turning in of energy credits when purchasing power, so that they may be removed from circulation without the need for taxation. The current plan is that this committee is to be elected by the native North American tribes. While from America, they are a community that has a history of confronting the fossil fuel industry, while at the same time having a degree of sovereignty in their own right. They have also not been part of the colonial efforts of the U.S. government that have led to international instability, as they are in fact victims of it to this very day, as the federal government seizes more of their lands to build government-subsidized fossil fuel infrastructure that pours undue profits into the pockets of Wall Street and the billionaire class, at the expense of the American taxpayers, as resource rights to national lands are sold for pennies on the dollar to those same parties to feed the profits of unnecessary middlemen with friends in high places. The third of the major committees is the Stewardship Committee. This committee is composed of national, local, and international committees. The Stewardship Committee and its component committees have the mandate to use the revenue from their infrastructure allotments towards securing the means of handling key aspects of the economy. This can include anything that your government and its corporate cronies try to privatize, to create unnecessary middlemen who can use natural monopolies or cartel behaviors to drive up prices. The healthcare system, for example, would fall under the Stewardship Committee, as well as your roads, library, museums, community and cultural centers, and basic services. Whatever your community needs, your locally elected Stewardship Committee will have access to increasing resources as the system grows to fund things that make your life better. Things that our corrupt leaders want to privatize so they can control you. If your leaders are not trying to privatize roads, do not petition your district stewardship committee, and the Federation will stay out of it. On the other hand, if your local public school is being underfunded to pursue some wasteful, for-profit voucher system, this is something you can call on the stewardship committees to fund as they grow. The International Stewardship Committee is responsible for international logistics, such as shipping and healthcare, and will be elected by our partner groups in Africa. While America has the misguided belief, among many, that corporations are inherently good, this flies in the face of those who have experienced colonialization at the hands of politicians who work for these international interests. Then there is the Auditors Group that falls under the Founder's Seat. Auditors are elected locally, nationally, and internationally, all by the members of the labor guild system. Locally, they are elected by district-level elections. Nationally, they are elected by members of that nation, and international auditors are elected by the North American Essential Labor Guilds. The Founder's Seat is intended, at first, to be elected by the North American Essential Labor Guilds. The Founder's Seat oversees the auditors and can fire any committee member. However, the Founder's Seat cannot make any appointments to those positions once the democratic election systems are in place. The same voting pool oversees the filling of any vacancies to prevent any abuse by the founder's seat. In instances where the auditors find fault in the actions of a non-elected person, it is the role of the elected supervisor of that position to address disciplinary action based on the findings. If there is a need for the auditors themselves to be investigated, that is the role of the founder's seat. While elected, the founder's seat can be investigated or terminated if there is the appearance of conflict of interest, or if an investigation leads to finding any impropriety, in which case the family trustee will be able to relieve them of their role. But as with the founder's seat, the family trustee does not get to choose the replacement. The responsibility returns to the appropriate voting pool to elect the replacement. It is our sincere hope that, with time, and as trust is built amongst these various groups, they will begin to merge the voting pools. We are currently suffering from division around the world because the elite of the world have pitted nation against nation, state against state, neighbor against neighbor, family member against family member, and even parent against child. Such engineered differences have created division amongst natural allies within the 99% around the world, making them more vulnerable to the powerful, be it through the control of government or through direct subjugation through a rigged economy run by an international corporate oligarchy that seeks to destroy our democratic institutions to feed their profits. Imagine this committee structure as a graft to support the fractured bones of civilization so that they can regrow together in time, not through top-down demands of an authoritarian, but through the building of trust and shared responsibility for the welfare of our children and their future. Not socialism, not communism, but a democratically governed organism run on the principles of the welfare capitalism that made people's lives better. Even if you do not want to be an active member or supporter of the Federation, this entire system is being built to be available to you, so you can walk away from a bad deal or a bad job that does not respect your contribution to the company. Our goal is not to look out for one group at the expense of another group, but to keep working until everyone who has a basic need not being met is seen to, while honoring the contribution of those who got us there. We believe that direct democracy, under you, is the best way to ensure that the Federation will never betray the principles on which it was founded. You should not have to put your boot on the neck of another, or act like a bully, to meet the needs of a shallow dictator who will never honor your sacrifices of character, labor, and in some cases, blood and life, and who may dismiss the suffering of others with a shrug because it's the economy, stupid. Our political leaders seek to divide us in service to fossil fuel and Wall Street interests, when they should be leading us to work together to solve the many problems their donors profit from, such as climate change, healthcare, and countless other facets of the suffering industrial complex that funds their campaigns and fills their investment portfolios. Look at those who wish to divide us in a crisis to profit from the suffering with skepticism. In the phalanx, in ancient combat, your shield does not protect you. It protects the person to your left and right, as their bravery in holding the line protects you. The Federation is not the person to your left and right. The Federation is simply the banner, the shield, and the supply chain, the tools of the trade. It is your neighbors around the world who stand with you, that have the power to get you through the many crises created by our leaders' corruption, ultimately liberating you into a better future of freedom and prosperity. You can work together to hold the corporate interests of the oligarchy in check, or wipe them from the field as needed. If you assassinate a CEO, he will be replaced by the end of the day, and you'll be charged as a murderer or a terrorist. If you invest in a competitor to a malignant corporation through the Stewardship Committee, under the power of labor and backed by the monetary management of the Executive Committee, you can end that corporation so it will never again plague your community. You can live in their world of shareholder capitalism, or you can impose your will upon them through the free market by creating a welfare capitalist system in which you have a voice that honors your contributions. It's not about making a nation great. It is about liberating people to meet their greatest potential. That is the power of the UBI and other programs, should the Federation succeed. For once, you have the power to choose what system you work in, one dedicated to the welfare of all, or one dedicated to the welfare of the few. The choice is yours. If you are interested in capitalism that works for the people, by the people, please like, comment, share, and subscribe.